What's up guys, Cass here from GiveWave Studios, and on this one I'm going to show you how to turn these 6 pieces. You can barely see it, but this is the 6 piece right here. 2, 4, 5, 6 into this really cool magnetic levitating dodecahedron Sigma Hypersphere power thingy from Overwatch that he has. Alright, so let's get it. Okay, so first thing I want to draw your attention to is the fact that the deluxe kit is the only one that comes with this galaxy black finish. If you buy the DIY kit, you're going to get random colors. It might be white, it might be purple, it might be pink, it might be silver. You have to, do some cleanup and sanding and painting of your own. With the DIY kits also, the parts are not perfect. They're basically straight off of the print bed, so there's going to be some brims, some excess that you can just slice right off with an X-Acto or a hobby knife or something like that to kind of clean up your part. I do minimal cleanup on the pieces for the DIY kits, so a lot of the grunt work really is for you guys to kind of do and put in the work into making it as clean as you want it to be. Okay, so move these guys out of the way, and you will notice that on one of your halves, or actually on both halves, there is one end that doesn't have magnets. This is going to be essential because when you put this back, sometimes it's hard to see which part goes where. So that part that doesn't have a magnet obviously matches up with the part that doesn't have a magnet. It also makes it a little easier to open back up and close up. So regardless if it's deluxe or DIY, you're going to have your magnets already preset up, and the color of your ball won't change either unless they come up with some type of skin for him that the balls are a different color. But these are also going to come pre-assembled with their magnets. Okay, and your LED light is going to look like this. It's a twist on and twist off type of thing going on, pretty bright, and it has a slot right in here to fit right into. Okay, and there's also a magnet at the end of that, and those two pieces come together and you have your lights inside of your piece. All right, but before we do that or burn out our battery, let's we'll put the side with the magnet and the lights aside, and we're going to focus on this guy. Okay, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit, but as you can see, there are 2 microscopic holes at the top of this, and what you're going to do is you're going to run your string through the top, run it in. Whoops, oh, here we go. This is probably the hardest part of the build, is threading this stuff through the pieces, because it's a clear string through a very, very thin hole, and it doesn't always work out good the first go around. I got it. Alright, so you start at the top and loop through from the inside and then come back out top, and then you're just going to tie a knot for this. So I'll go ahead and fast forward through that. Alright, so once you've tied your knots, or a couple of knots actually, to really make sure that it's strong, pull at it, do a couple of pulls. The magnet is not super strong, so if you can pull strong at it and it doesn't come undone, then you're good. Whatever excess that you have, you can try and go really, really close to your knot and just like snip that off. You can do that with your blade or with scissors, and now it's hanging perfectly balanced from the center. It's also not a bad idea to put a little dab of super glue or crazy glue, any type of like quick drying adhesive right on your knot area, just to make sure that it doesn't slide on itself over time. So add that. Okay. So now that we have that, the part that has the big magnet we're not going to use for this step. We'll come back to that later. This is the one that we're interested in, the one that does not have the big magnet, and on one of these ends, probably this one right here, yep, this one right here, you guys can tell there's two little holes right here. So what we're going to do is from the inside, we're gonna go and thread through one, back in the other way, and then we're gonna tie it off in the center, but after we've balanced everything in the ball. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward through the steps. Okay, once you've threaded this through, we're going to go ahead and run your loose end behind the string that goes into your ball and then through the loop that makes. That's gonna give us a little bit of a slip knot right here that we can use to either rise the ball or lower it, but it has a little bit of tension to it, okay? Which is what we need in order to figure out where our balance is going to be, which is the next step. So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our piece. Actually, it's this way, okay. For this step, you do want to have the light inside of the ball. The weight of the light is going to make a huge difference, and that's gonna matter in how you're gonna balance this. So we're gonna sit this down, and the first thing that's probably gonna happen is it's gonna pull the ball away from you. So not to fret, just put your finger in between the two big magnets, okay, so that you have some distance that separates them, and then pull on your loose string a little bit, and you should get it to the point where it's hovering in the middle of everything. Now, the key to this is if you turn it upside down, it detaches or demagnetizes. It's not low enough. So release a little bit of your string, try it again, okay, and if it stays centered, like it's floating in the middle, then you're good. In order to sell this look, you really want to find the point where it's the furthest away from the magnet, but still doesn't shift from the magnetic field. So that's going to take a little bit of tinkering. So just go ahead and keep pulling on your loose string or loosening it until you get it to a point that you're happy with, and then just tie it off. And that'll be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward through that step. So again, find your balance point where it's upside down and it doesn't fall, and then just kind of tie your string or just kind of loop it through one of the open areas here. Just kind of brace it so that you don't lose this position, and separate your two parts. Okay, once your two parts are separated, making sure that you don't lose that position. This is the trickiest part of this whole thing. Making sure that you don't lose this position. You're going to tie a second knot around your string. Okay, behind your string and through the loop. Like that. Okay, that's going to create a second knot, and with that, you want to just pull until it meets the first knot that you created. Something like that. Okay. And I'm not going to pull at it 100% right now. I don't know why this light is twitching. I'm not going to pull at it 100% right now. I'm going to bring it back to the dodecahedron, and it's pretty good, but I kind of missed the mark a little bit. It always shifts during this step, so that's one of the reasons why I didn't pull it all the way through. So now that I have it, I'm gonna grab a pair of pliers and just kind of lightly tug on the string a little bit until it's exactly where I need it to be, because as I'm tugging From here, it's tightening here on the inside, and once it gets to the point where, again, it's not shifting around, then I can go ahead with a pair of scissors or with my blade, cut off this excess so that that doesn't show anymore. And again, if you're able to, just kind of go in here and do a little dab of super glue so that there is no more sliding around for this. Okay. And that'll be that. I'm going to make sure to just kind of spread that around in there so that the knot actually gets it. Okay. So, all right. And guy back in its place. So what I usually like to do when I'm reassembling this is I'll hold the ball away from the magnet and then just let it drop into place. All right, and that is pretty much it, guys. There you have it. That's how you assemble your magnetic levitating Hypersphere prop that Sigma uses in Overwatch. Again, mount and dismount is pretty simple. Go ahead and turn on your light, stick that in, snap your piece back in, and there you have it. Cool. Okay, so if you guys purchased the kit from the website, I appreciate the support. If you were watching this tutorial just to get a sense of maybe you want to do it yourself, I hope that my process was useful and that this little magnetic levitation suspension technique that I use for this could be used for many other different things. But as you can see, you can rotate the ball on the inside, and the deluxe version comes with this extra clear handle that you can decide to use or not use depending on how you're going to be wearing or using the prop. And what it is it slides inside this slot here that I was talking about earlier, that I said we were gonna touch back on when we were done. And what this allows is to have a kind of stand for the prop that allows it to float on. But not only that, it becomes wearable so that you can slide this in hand, and now it all looks like it's just floating with you on top of your hand. So because from afar you can barely see this acrylic, so it really sells the look of this just kind of floating in space. All right, this has been Cass from GiveWave Studios. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I try to get back to those as often as I can. And again, hope the tutorial was helpful. Thank you for the support, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.